We've got hot springs. Plus, how much of this episode was actually real and how much wasn't? What's going on, YouTube? Welcome back, everybody. West Coast, East Coast siblings, where we break down your favorite movies and TV shows. Today, I'm wearing the cap, by the way, because I need a haircut. Today, we're talking episode 6 of Snowpiercer. We're going to break it all down. This is going to be your biggest takeaways, review, recap, all rolled into one episode. So sit back, relax, grab your favorite snack, and let's jump into it. Now, like I said in the beginning, there was a lot of this episode that you might think was a hallucination. But the problem was Melanie was basically hallucinating from the beginning of the episode, even before she started starving. So there's a question mark there, but I digress. This episode mainly focuses on what was going on with Melanie during basically the last 2 or 3 episodes of Snowpiercer when we were on Snowpiercer. So, as we know, Melanie leaves the train to go and get some information to build a climate map so they can track how the Earth is warming and theoretically project when they would be able to go back outside of the train. So let's start out with the hot springs because as Melanie starts starving, she finds this other group of people who were there, and they had ended up becoming cannibals, and I think one girl survived for like 5 months, and Melanie only has to survive for 1 month, so it seems doable. But she ends up eating these rats, okay, which isn't too pleasant, but hey, desperate times. And she ends up finding this entire cave. It's like a hot spring under the mountain, and these mice are thriving down there. It seems like they're probably eating vegetation, but Melanie was using thawed out human, thawed out human in order to bait the rats. And so she ends up finding this hot spring, and this has huge implications for the future of this show. Right off the bat, the Earth is now habitable. Maybe not on the surface, but in some way, shape, or form, Earth is now habitable. And that's never happened in the Snowpiercer series. So I don't want to gloss over it. This is a significant development here that we now have a habitable part of Earth. So Melanie now, assuming that she's the only person who really knows about this, I would assume that Wilford does not. She can say, okay, I'm outie, take her group of people, her followers. Hey, you guys stay on Snowpiercer. Oh, go ahead, exile us or whatever. Basically, the equivalent of walking the plank on Snowpiercer. And she could just take her group of friends and they can go live in the springs. And they've got an electrical base. They would have to eat mice and stuff. But I'm assuming that there was some vegetation there as well. So I'm assuming they could grow some food as a source of like vegetation and not just meat there. So another thing we got in this episode was a ton of flashbacks about the time before Snowpiercer actually launched. And we kind of saw the tension building up and all the issues between Melanie and Wilford before the train had launched. Obviously, Wilford wanted to take a more militant approach to Snowpiercer and securing everything, which he kind of had a point as things started to hit the fan toward the end because they weren't able to keep order. And Melanie was more the side, we need scientists, we need researchers so that we can help get the Earth back to habitable form. She talks about the Ice Age, this being a man-made Ice Age, and how in order to save the Earth, they need to actually have people on the train who have an idea of how to do that, not just people with guns. She also has an issue with Wilford wanting to have the night car, right? So as he's developing that, she's like, you could sustain 20 more people based off of all the indulgence that you'll be having on this night car. There's no need for it. And so you just see the tension rising and rising. So you knew they were going to be enemies. And obviously, as we know, we knew this before, that Melanie stole Snowpiercer, basically ran away. But what we did get a look at was that moment in which she made the decision to leave Alex behind. And it was because of Wilford. So she had a split-second chance where Wilford was not on the train. He was on Big Alice or wherever, attending to other matters. And Ben basically says, look, it's now or never. If you want to save the whole world and stuff, then you've got to do this now. Now, here's my thing. And let me know in the comments below, is this something you could do? I know we all like to think, yeah, of course, I would save the world. I mean, come on, I'd save the world. But honestly, if it's your own child, could you make that choice? And theoretically, you could assume that she didn't think that Alex would die necessarily. She would stay wherever Wilford was. Wilford was on Big Alice or wherever he was, and she would stay there. And maybe she had that hope, and they alluded to that in the episode. She had that hope that one day she would reunite with her daughter. But still, that wasn't a given. And it did give Wilford an opportunity to just move right into her spot, become that parental figure. And that's why we have the issues that we have now, where Alex is so estranged from her mother. If you're still watching, be sure to hit the like button, subscribe, and comment. Guys, we're building such a great community of TV show watchers. I have too much fun, probably, just chatting it up with you guys. So again, you know what to do. It's YouTube. Anyway, so getting into some other developments for the episode, we have CW7, talk of some climate researchers that Melanie discovered. They had all passed away, but that was a family. We had basically, there was, what was that? So Wilford actually, at the end of that conflict, Wilford threatens Melanie's family, saying that they would get left behind if she didn't get with the program. And there was even a scene where he slaughters an entire group of scientists. I think they were scientists, climate scientists, that were outside hoping to get in. He's like, I don't have time to talk about this. So he just kills them. And that just goes to show more of the ruthlessness of Wilford. So another interesting thing that happens is Melanie, while she's starving, has this scene where she hallucinates with Leighton, and Andre is on in the base talking about now you just are getting a little taste of what we've had to experience as tailies. And anybody who knows the Snowpiercer show from Netflix, that was a huge part of the show, the starvation aspect. They were eating these protein blocks, which, guys, leave a like if you want to see those make a return. I mean, come on, we're in season 2. About more than halfway through season 2, still no protein blocks. We haven't seen those, but starvation was a huge part of the show, and so now Melanie's getting a little taste, and you kind of forget because of how Melanie has behaved in the last several episodes, even toward the back half of last season and this season. You forget that Melanie is one of those higher class people because she acts like a tailie. She is a rebel kind of against Wilford. But for the first several episodes of season 1, she was just like Ruth. She was a high class, hospitality person. And, it was hard for her to relate, but she's definitely getting a taste of her own medicine, no pun intended there. So another thing I want to talk about is the hallucinating. So as we know, she's hallucinating. So the question is, at the end of the episode, Snowpiercer is 3 days past due. She's supposed to make contact with Snowpiercer, and it's been 3 days, and she's starting to give up hope. And we see she gets desperate and she leaves the base despite not being able to make contact for 3 days. And she goes and runs out there and she sees Snowpiercer just rushing on by, and she's running, trying to get there, and she misses the train. And almost as if it's just a little too cheesy, Alex was right in the back of the train like, Mom, we left you. Here are the reasons why I don't think that this is necessarily real. Okay, and there's an argument that it is real. Okay, here's the reasons why it might not be real. Number one, if they blew right past Melanie, then that means all the tailies and Leighton, everyone has failed and is probably dead or captured at this point of the episode, as where Melanie is now. Because, there's no way in the world that Andre, Alex, Ruth, all of those people would have just let Melanie go, would have just let her die. There would have been a war. There would have been something crazy going on. So it's kind of hard to believe that they would just blow right past her like that. Of course, the reasons to believe it is real is that we literally saw it, but that's always a question. What are we seeing, and when is it actually real? Especially because hallucination played such a big part of this episode. I'm leaning toward it was not real. I think she's hallucinating. So with that being said, I am very curious to hear what you guys think. If you think this was real, and this would mean that they'd have to. Melanie would basically be dead, because if this is real, then And assuming, let's just go with Andre and all the cats and all the tailies are not captured, okay, but they just blew right past her pickup date. They would now have to start that revolution right now, get control of the train right now, and head back all within, I don't know how many hours she could even survive out there. She's hungry. She's out in the cold. She's probably given up a lot of hope because the train just blew right past her. So even if this was real, her chances of survival are slim to none. And there are a lot of people who thought that she would not survive past this season, maybe even a couple episodes. With a couple episodes to go, she might not make it. So that's also a possibility. But I want to hear what you guys have to say, what your thoughts are on this episode. So as always, let me know down in the comments below. Thank you guys so much for watching. We got a ton of shows. So we did Walking Dead yesterday. We've got Superman and the Flash coming. Also Servant. Well, Superman and the Flash are coming tomorrow. Then Servant is coming Thursday. And also, of course, WandaVision on Friday. So we got a ton of content. Also, there's a new show called Debris that airs tonight. Sydney should be covering that one. So I'll obviously update this video with a link to that. It's a brand new show on NBC. So we're going to check that one out. Be sure to check it out with us if you want. Thanks so much for watching, guys, as always. And I will see you in the next one. Peace.